Just a few days ago, a whirlwind of a relationship came to an abrupt and painful end. It only lasted 3 months, but those 3 months felt like years, packed with emotional highs, confusing twists, and a level of unpredictability I never thought I'd willingly walk into. Looking back, I can't help but feel like a gullible fool, and honestly, I don't blame anyone else for thinking the same about me. But to be fair to myself, there were many things that pushed me into trusting her and sticking around far longer than I should have. It wasn't as simple as just walking away. I'm not new to relationships. I've had my fair share of experiences and never really struggled to meet or connect with women. In fact, right before this roller coaster began, I had ended a 2-year long relationship. She was sweet and kind, but the connection lacked depth. We didn't share any common hobbies, and the language barrier only widened the emotional distance between us. I ended it because I knew dragging it out would only hurt us both more in the long run. Still, breaking her heart weighed heavily on me. For 5 months after, I focused on improving myself mentally, emotionally, physically. I reflected hard on what I wanted from a relationship. I wasn't looking to play games. I didn't care for meaningless hookups. I was ready to find something real again. So, I downloaded Hinge. At first, it was light flirting and rediscovering my groove. But then I matched with Hera, a 27-year-old woman who described herself as pansexual. I paused for a second at that. It was new to me, but after a bit of reading, it just seemed like a broader version of bisexuality. No big deal. What drew me in wasn't her label, it was her energy. Her texts were fun, witty, weirdly deep sometimes. It felt like she got me. She mirrored my values, boundaries, and sense of humor in a way I hadn't experienced before. Sure, she wasn't physically my type, but her personality pulled me in completely. Within a few days, we were spending hours talking on the phone. One night, she dropped something unexpected. She had never been in a relationship. Only one date in her entire life. She was 27, virgin, inexperienced in nearly every way. Honestly, that made me cautious. I've always been careful about situations like this. There's a lot of pressure involved, and if it doesn't work out, it can leave someone with emotional scars. But she had a vulnerability that didn't feel performative. It was raw, real, and I couldn't walk away. 2 weeks later, we decided to meet in person. She worked long hours, 6 days a week, so our first date ended up being at my place instead of a restaurant. A bit strange, especially for someone so inexperienced, but I figured maybe my being in a wheelchair made her feel safer. We ended up talking until 4 a.m., and when she left, she said she had a great time and was surprised I didn't try to make a move on her. I told her that trying anything would have been inappropriate, especially given her inexperience, her exhaustion from work and gym, and just respect. She said that was sweet, but also admitted that she probably would have said yes to sex had I tried. That threw me off. A self-proclaimed virgin who just met me for the first time, ready to take that leap? It didn't make sense. But then she told me about a traumatic event from her childhood, something that had kept her from exploring intimacy. It was heavy, deep, painful. I listened and I stayed. She said she wanted to rip the Band-Aid off and stop being afraid of intimacy. I made sure she was absolutely sure. And then the next day, we did it. It wasn't smooth, it wasn't sexy, it was awkward. But everything about her screamed, "This is real." Right after, she brought up something wild, getting matching name tattoos. I was floored. I told her straight up that it was a crazy idea. I would never tattoo someone's name on me, no matter how strong the relationship was. She insisted she wouldn't regret it, even if we broke up. I figured she was just on an emotional high from losing her virginity. Still weird, but I let it go. Then came the part that shook me. She casually asked if I wanted to hear something crazy. I said sure, not knowing I was opening a door I couldn't close. She told me that she used to want to get a surgically grafted penis added above her vagina. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She explained it was something she wanted since she was a kid. I stayed calm, asked questions, tried to wrap my head around it. Eventually, she said it was just a childhood fantasy and reassured me it wasn't something she wanted anymore. I chalked it up to youthful confusion and, again, tried not to judge. I pushed it out of my mind. A month passed. Things seemed normal, stable even, until one night, after a few drinks, she opened up again. Tearfully, she told me how years ago her cousin had told her about a surgery that could give her an almost fully functioning penis. It turned out to be a lie, a